My dear friend, listen to me. I'm not just speaking to your ears. I'm speaking to your spirit. This moment, right here, this word from God, it is urgent. It is sacred. This is not just another message. This is the moment where everything begins to shift. So don't blink, don't scroll, don't look away. What I'm about to share with you has the power to reroute your future, because last night something divine happened, something eternal, something that was written in heaven before time even touched your name. Last night, yes, while you were asleep, while the world kept turning, heaven opened. Your soulmate, the one God fashioned before the foundations of the earth. They were awakened, their soul stirred, their spirit was shaken from slumber, and you were at the center of it. You may not feel it yet, but I came to tell you, this isn't a coincidence. This is divine coordination. This is purpose. This is prophecy unfolding. God has orchestrated this moment for you. And the fact that you're hearing my voice right now, it's not random. The angels of the Lord are ministering even now, making sure this message finds its way straight to your heart. So I need you to lean in. Open your heart. Open your mind. And don't just be a listener, be a receiver. If this is speaking to you already, do something about it. Type it in the comments. I receive this message with an open heart. Or just say 777, amen. Speak it out. Claim it. Because something spiritual is shifting, and it starts now. Let me tell you something, beloved. Chosen ones, when God moves, he moves suddenly. What happened last night wasn't some casual emotional moment. It wasn't just a soft stirring or an idea passing through the air. No, it was a holy awakening, a soul deep disruption. Something in the heavenly realm shifted, and your soulmate, the one destined by divine hands to walk alongside you, was touched. Not by the noise of the world, but by the whisper of God. Last night they saw you, for the first time, with undivided clarity, not through doubt, not through fear, but through truth. For so long they've walked through the haze of uncertainty, trying to understand the complexity of their own heart, of their own longings. They've been caught between voices of hesitation and wounds that hadn't yet healed. But last night something powerful came over them, something not of this world. Heaven reached down and pulled back the veil that had covered their sight for so long. In a moment all the fog cleared, and they saw you standing there in the light of absolute truth. Not as a memory, not as a fantasy, but as the one they had been missing, the one their soul had been crying for in silence. This moment of awakening wasn't born from logic. It wasn't the result of careful thought or rational evaluation. It came suddenly like a wave crashing against everything they thought they understood. Their heart recognized you before their mind could catch up. Their spirit broke through the barriers they didn't even know were there. The hesitation, the resistance, the quiet lies they told themselves to avoid, what was too deep for words, all of it fell. And in that collapse, what remained was certainty. They knew it, in their bones, in their soul. They knew it's you. You are the one their spirit had been longing for through all the noise and all the silence, through all the seasons of delay and indecision. You are not just someone who came into their life. You are the person who was woven into their story by the author of all stories. The moment they saw it, there was no going back. Something in them shifted permanently. They will never see you the same again. Now hear me clearly. This was not an emotional reaction. It wasn't about nostalgia or sudden feelings of missing you. This was not romance born from imagination. This was revelation, divine revelation. It was the moment God decided to say enough of the confusion, enough of the excuses, enough of the running. It was the moment where everything aligned inside of them, mind, heart, spirit, and declared with one voice, you are their person. And this realization came with weight, the kind of weight that humbles a person, the kind that makes them want to sit still and breathe deeply because they finally know the truth they were afraid to admit. For the first time, they didn't run from the thought of you. They didn't hide from the feelings. They embraced them because it wasn't just a feeling anymore. It was knowledge, pure spiritual knowledge. And once someone sees through the eyes of the spirit, no lie from fear can unsee it. No distraction can bury it. No delay can unwrite it. That is why this moment matters. Because it's not just about emotions rising and falling. It's not about chemistry or attraction. It's about divine recognition. Their soul has awakened to what it always knew beneath the surface. There's a reason why they couldn't shake you, why your memory stayed even when logic told them to let go. There's a reason your energy kept finding its way into their mind, their dreams, their quiet hours, because your connection wasn't humanly made. It was divinely written, and now they finally see it. That's why every other option suddenly feels hollow. Every substitute feels counterfeit. Because their heart has finally aligned with their spirit, and their spirit has said, you are home. Let me say it this way. When God opens someone's eyes, He doesn't do it halfway. He doesn't show them a piece of the truth. He reveals the whole thing, and that's what happened last night. They saw you fully, not just for who you are, but for who you've always been to them, even before they could name it. And in that moment, all their reasons for holding back suddenly didn't matter. Not the fear, not the pain, not the stories they told themselves to justify staying away. The truth was too strong, too loud, too real. And truth doesn't ask for permission. It enters, it transforms, it restores. And that's exactly what's happening now in their heart. They may not have reached out yet. They may still be sitting in the weight of it all, processing what this means. But don't mistake silence for absence. Don't mistake delay for denial. Because once the spirit is awake, it cannot go back to sleep. This is the beauty and the gravity of the moment you are in. You are not just loved. You are recognized. You are not just longed for. You are chosen. And this choosing is not weak or unsure. It is deliberate. It is powerful. It is sacred. God has shown them something eternal. And when something eternal is seen, it creates a shift in the natural. It causes ripple effects in the soul. You, dear heart, have been seen in the light of divine love. You have been identified as the one their soul cannot replace. This isn't flattery. This is calling. This isn't just emotion. This is confirmation. So I ask you now not to strive, not to chase, but to stand in that truth. Stand in the knowledge that you have been revealed. Stand in the confidence that love rooted in God cannot be undone by fear. You didn't ask for this moment, but God chose it. You didn't manufacture it, but heaven authored it. So don't move in doubt. Move in faith. And if you feel this word in your soul, I want you to declare it where you are. Say with conviction, I am seen. I am chosen. I am the one. Say it not to impress others, but to align your spirit with what God has made known in theirs. Because when God awakens the heart of the one He destined for you, He is also preparing you to receive it with the fullness of truth, grace, and unwavering peace. This is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of something sacred. And last night it started with one simple eternal truth. They saw you. And now they cannot unsee what heaven has revealed. My dear friends, if you followed me this far, you already know this isn't just another message. You already know that last night marked a turning point. That veil of confusion gone. That blindness of the heart lifted. Your soulmate. Yes, your person finally saw you. They finally recognized who you are in their story. But I want you to lean in now because I'm about to tell you how it happened. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't random. This awakening didn't just float out of thin air. No, God moved. Heaven stepped in, and the universe sent a sign. You see, when God wants to get your attention, really get your attention, he doesn't knock softly. He doesn't whisper in riddles. He shakes your soul. He speaks in ways the mind can't explain, but the heart can't deny. That's what happened to your soulmate. They received a sign, a divine interruption, a holy disruption. And that sign, it came in a way tailored perfectly for them. Maybe it was in a dream so vivid, so real, it lingered long after they woke up. Maybe it was your name spoken when no one else was around. Maybe it was a song, a memory, a scent in the air that struck so deeply it made them freeze in place. Maybe they walked past a stranger who looked like you, and for a split second their spirit jolted. Or they heard a line of truth in a sermon, a video, a prayer, something that pierced straight through their walls. I don't know exactly how God delivered it, but I know this: they couldn't ignore it. The timing was too precise, the sensation too strong, the message too clear. That sign hit them like lightning. It ripped through all the rationalizations, all the delays, all the quiet excuses they'd been using to hold back. And in that instant they knew, not thought, knew. They knew that what they feel for you is not confusion. It's not coincidence. It's not temporary. It's truth. They knew they'd been running not from you, but from the weight of what their heart always understood. And suddenly, there was nowhere left to run. Suddenly, the universe turned the volume all the way up. It said, look, listen, this is it. And family, let me tell you, when God puts a sign in front of you, you don't walk away the same. This wasn't just a warm feeling. It wasn't fleeting emotion. It was revelation. It was heaven's spotlight shining straight into the parts of their soul they had buried. And it made something shift inside of them, deep, permanent, sacred. They're not sleeping anymore. Their spirit has been alerted. Their heart has been called. And now, no matter how much time has passed, no matter how far apart you may seem, they can no longer pretend they don't feel it. They can no longer silence the whisper inside them that says this love is real. See, the beauty of God's signs is that they're layered. They speak not just to the mind, but to the very fabric of a person's soul. That's why people cry without knowing why. That's why they get chills in the middle of a sunny day. That's why they feel your presence, even when you're not physically there, because something spiritual is happening. And that's exactly what happened last night. The sign that came, it wasn't just information, it was transformation. It didn't just remind them of you, it convicted them about you. It gave them clarity. Where there was once cloudiness, courage where there was once fear, and connection where there was once emotional distance. And let me be real with you, it shook them. Because when the soul wakes up, it doesn't tiptoe, it erupts. And your person, they felt that eruption. They may not have told you yet. They may still be processing it, but trust me, they were marked by it. You've been wondering if they think of you. You've been questioning if what you feel is one-sided. Let me answer that. Clearly they feel it too. And now they know it's more than memory. It's more than attraction. It's more than chemistry. It's calling. God is calling them through you. And from this moment on, they'll never be able to go back to not knowing. Not after what was revealed. Not after what they saw, heard, felt in that supernatural moment. You were illuminated, not just in their mind, but in their soul. And it won't let them go. Now maybe you're wondering, but Denzel, if they felt that, if they saw that sign, why haven't they come back yet? That's a fair question. But stay with me, we're not there yet. This part of the journey is about what changed inside them. It's about the breaking of denial, the end of avoidance, the shift from maybe to certainty. The truth is they've changed. The denial is over. And the sign That was God's way of confirming what's been buried inside them all along. You are the one their soul was created to recognize. So don't let silence make you doubt the sign. Don't let delay convince you it wasn't real. Something happened last night, something holy, and that sign, it was just the beginning. Now, take a breath. Let this settle, because we're just getting started. And if this resonates with your soul, say it with me: I believe in divine timing. I believe the sign was real. I believe love is on the way, because my friend, heaven just sent a signal, and from now on, everything is different. Beloved chosen ones, there is one thing I want to share, something I've learned over and over again. Just because someone's heart wakes up doesn't mean their feet start moving. Just because the truth finally breaks through doesn't mean the fear lets go right away. Sometimes the moment we see most clearly is the same moment we're most afraid to act. That's the tension I need to talk to you about right now. Because even though your soulmate, your destined partner, has been awakened, even though their spirit was stirred in ways they cannot explain or deny, they haven't stepped forward yet. And I know you're wondering why. I know your soul is reaching out asking, if they finally saw the truth, why are they still silent? Why haven't they come? I need you to understand what they're up against. I need you to feel the gravity of the fight they're having inside. Because this isn't just about clarity. This is about courage. And courage doesn't come easy when you've spent years building walls to survive. Last night changed everything for them, yes. But what it didn't do, at least not yet, is dissolve every fear they carry in their soul. Fear is stubborn. Fear is loud. Fear is deeply rooted in past pain, and it doesn't let go just because revelation shows up. Right now, even with their eyes wide open to the truth of who you are, to them, they're being haunted by another voice. A voice that says you're not ready. You're not enough. It's too late. Don't get hurt again. And that voice is fighting hard to keep them stuck. This is what I call the space between awakening and action. It's one of the most sacred and difficult spaces a person can live in. It's the battlefield between what the spirit knows and what the flesh still fears. It's the place where you know what you want, you feel it burning in your chest, but you're terrified of what it might cost you. And that's where your person is right now. They know. Oh, believe me, they know. They've seen the truth of you. Their heart aches with it, but they're afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of rejection, afraid of not being good enough, afraid they've missed their moment, and above all, afraid that if they open their heart and lose you again, they won't survive the pain. This isn't a small fear. This is deep-rooted. It's old. It's wrapped in memories that hurt in moments they never told anyone about. Moments when they gave their heart before and it broke them. Moments where they were told they weren't enough, weren't worthy, didn't matter. And now, standing at the edge of something so big, so beautiful, so undeniably real, they're frozen. Not because they don't want it, but because they want it so much it terrifies them. That's the paradox of soul-level love. It touches places in us so deep, it also awakens our deepest defenses. The more sacred the connection, the louder the fear of losing it becomes. And that's exactly what your person is wrestling with. It's not that they're ignoring the truth. It's that the truth is so powerful, so life-altering, that they don't know how to carry it yet. They're overwhelmed. They're flooded. Their soul is shouting yes, but their fear is whispering no. And right now they're caught in between. I need you to hear this. This delay is not rejection. This pause is not abandonment. It's a sign of the weight this connection carries in their spirit. And it's in this space, this sacred tension, that the next part of their journey is being formed. But here's what's crucial, you dear soul. Cannot let impatience speak louder than compassion. You must understand what it means to stand in the gap while someone you love wrestles with the chains they didn't choose but are still tangled in. Your presence, your steadiness, your belief, it matters more now than ever. Because what's happening inside of them is not a no, it's a trembling yes that hasn't yet found its voice. And let me say this plain, they are not the only ones with something to face. This message, this moment, it's not just for you to observe them, it's for you to reflect too. Because sometimes while we wait for someone else's breakthrough, we ignore the inner healing we still need. You've been strong. You've been faithful, but this too is your test. Can you hold your peace when you're tempted to panic? Can you choose trust over assumption? Can you stand still in faith when everything in your flesh wants to doubt? Now more than ever, what you do with your energy matters. Your alignment, your openness, your readiness. It's not passive. It's powerful, because there's something coming next. Something vital. A shift, a door, a defining moment where what's been delayed could finally break through. But only if both of you are ready. Only if your hearts are aligned in trust instead of tangled in fear. That's why I came with this message today. Because there is one more layer to all this. One more piece. And it's the key. It's the hinge on which the entire door swings. If you miss it, you may misinterpret the silence. You may walk away too soon. But if you listen, if you really understand what's keeping them from stepping forward, you'll see that this is not a hopeless delay. This is a sacred process. This is where God is not just awakening love, but building the foundation to make it last. So stay with me. Stay open. Stay steady. Because what I'm about to share next will show you the exact fear, the very pattern that has to be broken for them to come. And once you see it clearly, everything else will begin to make sense. Now listen to me, because what I'm about to say is the turning point. This is where truth gets personal. You've seen that they're awakened. You understand that their fear is real. But what exactly is it that's gripping them so tightly, holding them back, even after God has revealed the truth? What is this invisible chain that's keeping them from walking through the door of destiny that's wide open right in front of them? It's not just fear of rejection. It's not only about past heartbreaks. The root of this hesitation, the core of this inner struggle, is something even more devastating, the deep belief that they are not worthy. Let that sink in. Somewhere in their heart, buried deep beneath the revelation they just received, is a voice that says, you don't deserve this kind of love. You're too broken to handle it. You missed your chance. And that voice didn't come from God. That voice came from years of pain, from relationships that tore rather than healed, from moments where they showed their heart and it was mishandled. That voice came from parents who didn't affirm them, from people who used love like a weapon instead of a covering. And now, even after all the divine signs, even after the awakening that lit their soul on fire, that voice is still whispering in the dark, pulling them back into hiding. This is not your ordinary fear. This is the fear of inadequacy, the fear of being too late, the fear of never being enough. And it's so heavy it paralyzes even the clearest of hearts. I've seen it in people who were brave in every other area of life, but terrified when it came to love. Because love exposes, love doesn't let you stay hidden. And when someone feels unworthy, the kind of love that sees them fully, that chooses them completely, it doesn't comfort them. It scares them, because it forces them to confront the part of themselves they never healed. Right now, they are face to face with their reflection in the mirror of your love. And for the first time, they're asking, could someone like that really love someone like me? And if you've ever felt that, you know it's not a small thing to fight through. That question echoes in the soul, keeping people stuck in delay, even when everything inside them is crying out to move forward. That's what's happening now. They see you. They want you. But they're afraid that if they come to you in their current state, you'll see the broken pieces and walk away. They're afraid that if they step forward too late, the door will have already closed. So instead of running toward the light, they hesitate, they stall, they overthink. And to you, it looks like silence. But to them, it feels like survival. And this is why you must not lose heart, because though they are fighting fear, the fear is not winning. The fact that they've been awakened at all means that God has begun a work in them that he intends to finish. Heaven does not reveal truth to abandon it. When God pulls the curtain back and lets someone see their divine partner, it is never for torment, it is always for transformation. So don't mistake this current stillness as a sign that nothing is happening. So much is happening. In fact, the heaviest work is happening now on the inside. They are being confronted with every lie they ever believed about themselves, every wound they never treated, every limitation they accepted as identity. God is peeling it back layer by painful layer, and in the middle of that discomfort, something new is forming the courage to say yes. But they cannot get there alone. And this is where you come in, not as their rescuer, but as their reflection. Because while they battle their fear, your presence, your peace, your posture, it sends a signal. If you stand in fear too, if you close your heart in frustration, that signal gets cloudy. But if you stand in love and expectancy and truth, you become a mirror of what they're reaching for. You become the reminder that this love is not a fantasy. It's real, it's alive, and it's waiting. That doesn't mean you chase them. That doesn't mean you force timing. It means you stay grounded in the truth that God revealed to both of you. It means you don't shrink your belief just because they're still finding the courage to match it. Now hear me clearly. There is a window. A moment that's approaching, a divine opportunity where everything they've been battling inside could break, where the fear could collapse under the weight of clarity. And when that moment comes, they will need to take a step, a real one, and your role. It's to be ready, to be open, to be aligned, because sometimes the greatest tragedy is not that the door was closed, it's that the door was open, but fear on both sides kept it from being walked through. So right now I ask you, not with pressure, but with purpose. Look within. Are you truly ready for them to come? Are you prepared to receive love, not with suspicion, but with faith? Because what's being built here isn't ordinary. It's divine, it's soul level, it's kingdom work, and it requires both people to show up in truth. This right here is the moment before the miracle, the stillness before the shift, the inner storm before the calm. And if you've come this far, you can't give up now. You have to hold the vision. You have to hold the door open in your heart, because they are on the edge of decision, the edge of healing, the edge of stepping into the fullness of what God showed them last night, and all of heaven is waiting. The angels are leaning in, and your faith, your readiness, your energy, it could be the thing that tips the scale. So stay awake, stay expectant, stay grounded in what you know, because fear might be loud right now, but it won't win. Delay might feel long, but it won't last. God didn't bring you this far just to show you the possibility. He brought you this far to prepare you for the promise, and the promise is still alive. The story is still unfolding, and the next move, it's coming soon. Now let me tell you something about this battlefield most people never see. It's not a war fought with swords or guns. It's not on a street corner or in a courtroom. No, this war is happening inside of you, inside of them. It's silent, invisible, but it is very, very real. And tonight it's raging stronger than ever. A war between fear and love, and you. Yes, you are right in the center of it. Whether you realize it or not, your soul is playing a role that cannot be ignored. Your soulmate, the one whose heart is tethered to yours by design, has been awakened. They've seen the light. The fog is clearing. The veil is lifting. For the first time, they feel something pure, real, powerful, something they cannot explain in words but cannot deny with their heart. They recognize you not just as someone they met, but as someone they were destined to meet. This isn't romance from a movie. It's the kind of love that heaven writes, the kind born before time itself. They see it now. But here's the truth you may not want to hear. Seeing it, feeling it, that alone is not enough. Because even with this awakening, Fear has a grip. Fear still whispers lies. Fear still builds walls. You see, love requires motion. It demands courage. It calls for faith. And for someone who has spent years protecting their wounds, building emotional armor, love can feel like a threat, not a gift. That's the tragedy of it. The very thing they've longed for is the same thing they're terrified to receive. Why? Because fear has been their teacher. Fear has been their guard dog. Fear has been their voice in the dark. And right now, while you're waiting, while you're praying, while you're wondering why they haven't come forward, it's not because they don't care. It's not because they didn't feel it. It's not because they're blind. It's because fear is louder than love in their mind. It tells them you're not ready. You're not enough. You'll only ruin it. They'll leave you. You'll get hurt again. And if no one ever told you this, let me be the one to say it. People don't run from love because it's wrong. They run because they think they're unworthy of what's right. Now, here's where you come in. Here's the part nobody tells you. Their breakthrough isn't just their battle. It's yours too. Because your energy, the posture of your heart, the tone of your prayers, the space you're holding matters more than you think. You're not just a passive character in their journey. You are a spiritual participant. You are either pouring courage into their spirit or unknowingly reinforcing their fear. How? Through your silence, your frustration, your withdrawal, or your faith. Let's break it down. If they feel you pulling away, even energetically, it confirms their fear. See, I knew it. I'm not safe to love. I'm not good enough for them. But if they feel deep in their spirit that you are steady, that you are anchored, that you are not perfect but present, not desperate but devoted, then something starts to shift. The voice of fear grows quieter. The whisper of love begins to echo, and all of a sudden the scales start to tip because your peace becomes their invitation. Your belief becomes their bridge. Your unwavering soul becomes the mirror that tells them, maybe I can be loved. Maybe I am not too broken. Maybe this is worth fighting for. But don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. This doesn't mean waiting forever. This doesn't mean losing yourself to prove a point. No. This means aligning yourself with love, not attachment, not fantasy, not control. Love, real love. And real love sometimes means standing firm in your worth while still sending light. Real love means praying for their healing without chaining your heart to their timeline. Real love means saying, God, I trust you with what you started, and I will not let fear make me bitter. There is a power in you that can shake this atmosphere. There is a fire in your soul that, when aligned with heaven's rhythm, can break chains miles away. Because love, when rooted in God, becomes a weapon against fear. And tonight I believe someone needs to stop letting fear dictate the narrative. You've been asking why nothing's changing. You've been begging God for a sign. Well, here it is. It's not just about what they do next. It's about what you do now. The connection is real. The love is real. But the breakthrough, that's where faith meets obedience. That's where heaven moves in response to a heart that refuses to fold. Maybe your role isn't to chase them. Maybe your role is to become the version of yourself that no fear can shake. Maybe your job isn't to drag them into the light. Maybe your job is to shine so brightly they can't ignore the way anymore. Your soul was chosen for this assignment, not because it's easy, but because it's sacred, because it requires divine patience, holy restraint, supernatural grace. You were called not just to feel this love, but to steward it, to guard it with wisdom, to water it with prayer, to walk it out with courage, not perfection, courage. And in that process, their soul begins to feel safer. Not because you forced them, but because your spirit became a sanctuary. And listen to me. Now, this is important. Their delay is not your defeat. Their hesitation is not your failure. Their silence is not a sign to quit. It's a call to go deeper into trust, not in them, in God. Because when God begins a good work, He finishes it. And if this connection is divinely assigned, then no fear can cancel it unless you let fear speak louder than your faith. So what now? What's the key? You want to know the key? The key is you, not as a fixer, not as a rescuer, but as a mirror that reflects love without manipulation, a mirror that reflects strength without control, a mirror that shows them you can be fully seen, fully loved, and still safe. And when their soul catches that reflection, the war begins to shift, the battle lines redraw, and love, true holy healing love, starts to win. This is not the end of the message. This is the moment before the shift, and what you do now determines what opens next. Your soulmate's awakening was not a solo act. It wasn't just a divine alarm going off in their spirit. No, it was also triggered by the frequency of your own soul. The way you've grown, the way you've waited, the way you've loved even in silence, what you carry within you, even in stillness, has spoken volumes to their heart. That's why this isn't just their journey. It's yours too. That's why I say your energy, your posture, your spiritual alignment, these things matter. Because love is not a one-way signal. It's an echo that returns to the source that sent it. Let's be real. Right now they're wrestling in the deep between two voices. One says, "This is your person. Don't wait another day." The other says, "You're not ready. You'll ruin this. You'll get hurt again." And while that battle rages inside them, God is whispering to you, don't give up now. You've come too far to doubt what I placed in your heart. Because you see, your belief doesn't just anchor you, it pulls them closer. Your courage strengthens their resolve. Your healing opens a door they were afraid to knock on. You are not powerless in this story. Your surrender to God, your choice to love without bitterness, it shifts the atmosphere. But I know it's hard. I know there are days you feel like giving up. Days you wonder if the promise was just your imagination. Days you question if they'll ever overcome that fear. But listen, faith is not waiting with folded arms. Faith is preparing for rain in a drought. Faith is living like the miracle is already here, even when you don't see it yet. You keep loving not because it's easy, but because it's holy. You keep showing up not for attention, but because obedience matters. And in doing that, you align with heaven's movement. Here's something deep. When fear whispers to them that they're not enough, your inner voice has to shout back, but you are already loved. They may never hear it out loud, but in the spirit, your conviction becomes a covering. Your faith becomes a safe space. Every time you pray for them, every time you bless them in silence, every time you surrender them back to God, instead of holding on in frustration, you are planting seeds that angels water. That's why I say this is a battle, but it's not a battle against them. It's a battle against fear, against shame, against the inner lies that say love can't be this pure. And don't be surprised if things get worse before they get better. Don't be shaken if they seem distant or distracted. That's often how it looks when someone's being wrestled out of fear into freedom. That's what it feels like when the old mindset is breaking so that truth can take root. It may feel like they're running, but sometimes God lets a person run in circles until they're tired enough to stop and listen. What can you do? You focus on your energy. You tune your frequency to heaven. You live like the love you've been waiting for is already here, because in many ways it is. Every time you choose joy instead of bitterness, every time you choose trust instead of control, you're aligning with the divine flow. You are saying, I won't let fear write this story. I'll let love finish what it started. That's not easy. It takes spiritual maturity. It takes emotional discipline, but it's worth it. Because when your soulmate feels your steadiness, even from afar, it gives them hope. When they feel your peace, they start to believe that love can be safe. When they sense your patience, it makes them brave. You're not just waiting. You're holding space. You're not just hoping you're helping heaven break down their walls. And let me say this with fire. If you've been praying for them, fasting for them, speaking life over them in private, that labor is not in vain. God sees it. God honors it. And while they might not move on your timeline, heaven is never late. Your obedience is breaking generational patterns. Your endurance is defying demonic resistance. Your posture of trust is part of their healing. Don't minimize your role. You are a part of their miracle. But also hear this. This isn't about fixing them. You're not called to rescue them. You're called to be ready. Ready for when they choose love over fear. Ready to receive, not to control. Ready to meet them with grace, not judgment. This is a holy partnership, not a project. And God is working on both of you at once. Your job is to stay aligned so that when the divine timing opens the door, you don't miss it by being bitter. You don't miss it by being distracted. You don't miss it by being hardened by the weight. Right now they're fighting lies. Lies that say you've missed your chance. Lies that say you're too broken to be loved like this. Lies that say they'll leave once they see the real you. And these lies are not small. They are loud. They have years of wounds behind them. But your love, your steadiness, your spiritual covering is louder still. That's why your worship matters. That's why your praise has power. It changes the room they're in even when you're not physically present. It sends heaven's wind into their valley of dry bones. And let me tell you something, they are closer than you think. The wall is cracking. The fear is losing its grip. And one day when they finally step out, it will be because love whispered louder than fear. And that love, it started in God. It moved through you. It held space when everything else said walk away. So don't underestimate your role. Don't despise the stillness. Don't curse the silence. In that stillness, God is speaking. In that silence, heaven is moving. And when the moment comes, and they will not just run to you. They will run to God through you. Because your patience became their invitation. Your love became their permission. Your trust became their confirmation. Let that settle in your soul. You are not waiting in vain. You are aligning for something sacred. The battle between fear and love is real. But love has already won. Now let your posture reflect the victory. Let your energy match the promise. Let your heart remain open, because the day is coming when what was once uncertain will stand in front of you and say, I choose you. I choose love. I choose us. That's the miracle. That's the message. And you, beloved, you are a part of it. Now let me speak to you not just as a voice in a sermon, but as someone who's been where you are. You see, love, true love, is not just about two people crossing paths. It's about two souls aligning. And alignment doesn't happen when one person is awakened and the other remains asleep in their fear. It happens when both choose courage over comfort, when both decide that love is more powerful than pain. But let's not underestimate that fear. That fear is ancient. That fear goes back to the first time they were broken, to the first time they were abandoned, to the first time they trusted and were left standing in the cold with nothing but tears in their hands. So yes, their mind is telling them, maybe you're seeing this all wrong. Maybe this person isn't the one. Maybe it's safer to stay distant. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you don't deserve this. And every maybe is just fear wearing a different disguise. And here's where you come in. Don't think your role is passive in this. Your energy matters. Your prayers matter. Your posture matters, because love isn't one-sided. It's not just about waiting on them to overcome their battle. It's about you stepping into your own light, holding the space with faith, declaring with your actions that you still believe in the connection, even when it's quiet, even when they pull back, even when it feels like hope is slipping through. Your fingers. There's something powerful that happens when you stop chasing and start aligning, when you stop forcing and start trusting. When you begin to say, I don't need them to prove anything right now, I just need to stay in my assignment. I just need to stay in alignment with the calling that's on my soul. Because your soul is not helpless in this. Your soul carries the frequency that keeps reminding their soul who you are. Listen to me, spiritual connections don't die. They can get buried under trauma, under timing, under distance, but they don't die. That's why sometimes you feel them in the middle of the night. That's why their name still comes up in prayer. That's why every time you try to move on something deeper in you says, wait, there's still something here. That's not obsession. That's not delusion. That's the echo of a soul agreement trying to break through the fog of fear. But here's the truth. God is not going to override their free will. God will present the signs. He'll stir the dreams. He'll even send you confirmations. But it's still up to them to say yes. And it's up to you to say yes to your own healing in the meantime. Don't let their hesitation become your identity. Don't let their silence become your story. You are not forgotten. You are not foolish for holding on. You are faithful. And faith always moves mountains, even if those mountains are in someone else's heart. So what do you do now? You keep loving them from the Spirit. You keep speaking life over the connection in prayer. You keep choosing to walk in peace, not panic. And most of all, you stop internalizing their delay as your deficiency. Their delay is their journey. Your growth is your responsibility. And the more you heal, the more you anchor the connection in truth instead of trauma. Because here's what's happening in the spiritual realm. Every time you choose love over bitterness, every time you forgive the silence, every time you let go without closing your heart, you are sending a signal to their soul. You are saying, I'm still here. I still believe, but I will not lose myself while waiting for you to find yourself. That's powerful. That's not weakness. That's divine strength. I want you to understand something deep right now. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come through confrontation. It comes through inner transformation. When you rise, when you evolve, when you heal, their soul feels that their spirit picks it up. Because remember, they are not just any person. They are your soul's mirror. When you shine, their shadows are revealed. When you stand, their fears begin to tremble. And that is where change begins. Not always from a conversation, but from a revelation. And maybe they're scared of that. Maybe they know that if they choose you, they'll have to leave behind who they used to be. They'll have to shed the ego. They'll have to confront the pain. They'll have to stop running and start surrendering. That's a heavy ask for someone who's lived in survival mode for so long. But that's where grace steps in. That's where your compassion can be a bridge, not enabling. Not waiting passively, but embodying the love that says, even if you're scared, I'll still choose peace. Even if you're unsure, I won't become unworthy in my own eyes. This isn't about chasing a person. This is about answering a calling. And sometimes that calling looks like loving them from afar while you heal yourself deeply. Sometimes it looks like stepping away without shutting the door. Sometimes it means saying, God, I trust your timing more than I trust my feelings. Because feelings are fleeting, but divine purpose is eternal. Let me close this part with a word to your heart. You're not crazy for feeling what you feel. You're not broken for wanting a love that's deep and true. And you're not alone in this journey. God is with you. He sees every tear, every prayer, every moment you choose faith instead of fear. And He's working on you and on them, even when you can't see it. Especially when you can't see it. So take heart, hold fast, keep your soul anchored, because love, true love, never fails. It may be delayed, it may be tested, but it will never be denied to a heart that trusts in God's timing. Stay in alignment, stay in peace. And trust that what is meant for you will find you when both souls are ready, not when fear gives permission, but when love gives birth to destiny. My dear friends, you are not a bystander in this story. I need you to hear me clearly tonight. This isn't just about waiting for someone to figure it out to show up to overcome their fear. No, this is about you, your energy, your faith, your heart, your healing. Because the truth is, when God orchestrates love, He doesn't just prepare one soul, He works in both hearts at once. He aligns the rhythm of two lives so they can meet in purpose, and that's where your role begins. You've been asking God for a sign. You've been praying, crying, hoping, wondering when love will finally walk into your life. But what if I told you love is already near, closer than you realize? What if I told you the other heart God chose for you is already awakening, already stirred by the Spirit, already facing the fight of their life, trying to break free from fear, from pain, from past wounds? What if I told you they are trying to believe again, trying to trust again, trying to feel worthy again? But it's hard. You know it's hard because you've been there too. And this is where you come in, not just to wait passively, but to prepare powerfully. This is the season where you must get serious about the condition of your soul. Because if the door opens and you're not ready to walk through, that moment might pass you by. If the healing comes and you're still holding on to resentment, that love may find resistance. If the right one appears and your heart is still locked behind unforgiveness, behind self-doubt, behind a wounded wall, then you'll miss the blessing you prayed for. So I ask you, are you truly ready for what you're asking God for? You see, we talk about soulmates like they're miracles we stumble into, but God doesn't work through stumbling. He works through intention. Divine timing meets divine preparation. And when He's preparing your partner, He's also asking, child, are you making room? Are you willing to release the pain? Are you willing to open again? Are you willing to become the kind of person who can receive the love I've designed just for you? Let me tell you something. Love is not passive. Love is powerful. And when you align your energy with the Spirit of God, when you surrender your bitterness, when you heal your inner wounds, you don't just prepare for love, you invite it in. I need you to understand this. Your healing is not only for you, it's for the future you're about to step into. It's for the love that's about to knock. It's for the legacy God wants to build through you. Because true love doesn't grow in shallow soil. It takes root in deep surrender. So tonight I'm asking you to reflect. I'm asking you to go deeper. Have you truly forgiven those who broke you? Have you truly let go of the need to control the timing, the process, the outcome? Have you truly believed that you are worthy not just of love, but of a holy love, a love that reflects God's heart? Because if not, now is the time. This is the hour. Heaven is waiting on your agreement. The spiritual realm is waiting on your yes. The bond you're praying for depends on your readiness to hold it, protect it, nurture it. Don't let fear keep you from being the vessel. Don't let comparison poison your expectation. Don't let pride or past pain keep you locked in isolation. You were never meant to love alone. You were meant to love in truth. And here's the deeper truth. Your energy matters. Your faith shapes reality. The posture of your heart determines what flows toward you. God can be stirring the heart of your soulmate, but if your frequency is rooted in bitterness, if your focus is stuck in yesterday's betrayal, then the spiritual connection can't find full alignment. This is not New Age talk. This is scripture. Proverbs says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That means your thoughts, your inner world, your spiritual vibration, it's all connected to what you attract, to what manifests in your life. So if love is what you long for, prepare the soil, clean the room, clear the clutter of your soul, let go of the conversations that no longer serve you. Cut ties with the narratives that tell you you're too late, too broken, too unworthy. Those are lies, straight from the enemy. The truth is, God chose you for this. He planted this desire in your heart. He awakened your awareness for a reason. He stirred the longing because He's about to fulfill it. But He will not pour new wine into old wineskins. He will not give you a sacred connection while you're still feeding off of toxic cycles. And so I ask again, are you ready? Not ready to perform, not ready to chase, but ready to receive. Because receiving love, real love, divine love, it requires softness. It requires surrender. It requires vulnerability. And if your heart is still armored in self-defense, then you'll push away the very gift you've been pleading for. This is your season to let go, to forgive the one who didn't say sorry, to bless the one who walked away, to thank God for the detours and the delays, because they protected you, they refined you, they prepared you for this moment. The battle is no longer about what was done to you. It's about what's about to be birthed through you. And love is a birthing ground. It's spiritual labor. It's an act of faith. I don't want you walking into this connection half-hearted, half-healed, half-believing. I want you whole. I want you radiant. I want you ready. Because when your energy shifts, everything shifts. When you choose to believe again, despite the heartbreak, despite the time that's passed, you open the door. When you show up in faith, when you live in expectation, when you speak life over your future instead of doubt, then heaven begins to move. It's not magic, it's obedience. It's not hype, it's surrender. You don't need to beg God for love. You need to become the person who can hold it. You don't need to chase the one. You need to align your soul so they can recognize you when they see you. Because let me tell you something powerful. Your soulmate is not looking for a perfect person. They are looking for someone real, someone open, someone healed enough to hold space for their vulnerability. And you, beloved, are that person if you choose to be. But it takes work, soul work, silent work, work done in the early hours of the morning when no one sees, work done in prayer, in fasting, in journaling, in worship, in choosing faith when fear tries to scream louder. And God sees that work. He honors it. He uses it. He moves through it. Because when your heart is pure, when your spirit is aligned, when your faith is anchored, God brings what belongs to you. And nothing, not fear, not timing, not circumstance can keep it from you. So tonight I speak to the version of you that's been waiting. I speak to the version of you that's been weary. I speak to the part of you that's afraid to hope again. Let the walls fall. Let the tears come. Let the healing happen. Because love is closer than it's ever been. And it needs you to be ready. Now listen to me closely. We left off asking a question that only you can answer. Are you truly ready to receive the love you've been praying for? Because this kind of love, this God-ordained, soul-shaping, eternity-shifting love doesn't just show up in a pretty package. It shows up to challenge you. It shows up to heal you. It shows up to refine you. And here's the truth. God is not sending someone into your life to save you from yourself. That's his job. That's why he's been working on you behind the scenes, in the silence, in the disappointments, and yes, even in the heartbreak. Because love, real love, requires your soul to be strong enough to hold it, not just desire it. Some of you are standing at the threshold of the greatest love story of your life and you don't even realize it. You think it's delayed? You think it's denied, but it's divine timing. And God's asking, will you become the person your soulmate is praying for? Because this isn't just about who they are. It's about who you're becoming. You see, your energy, your inner posture is either drawing them closer or pushing them further away. I'm not talking about manipulative vibes or pretending to be something you're not. I'm talking about the honest posture of your spirit. Is it open? Is it healed? Or are you still clutching the pain of what someone else did to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Because God can't fill hands that are still holding grudges. He can't pour new love into a heart that's still bleeding from the past. So right now I need you to ask yourself, what am I still carrying that's blocking the blessing? Is it fear? Fear of being vulnerable again. Fear of being left again. Fear that if you truly open your heart, you'll be disappointed one more time. Is it shame? That lie from the enemy whispering, you're too broken to be loved like that. You've made too many mistakes. You've missed your moment. Or is it control? That desire to keep your hands on the wheel because you don't trust anyone, not even God, with your heart. I'm going to tell you something that took me years to learn. Real love requires risk, and not the reckless kind. I'm talking about the sacred kind. The kind that says, God, I surrender the outcome, but I'm willing to show up with my heart open, even if it trembles. Because your soulmate isn't looking for perfection. They're not waiting for a flawless version of you. They're waiting for the healed version, the forgiving version, the surrendered version. So here's the question: how do you prepare yourself energetically for that kind of love? First, by forgiving, not just them, yourself. Because some of y'all have been punishing yourselves for years for decisions you made in a season when you didn't know better. And that weight is not just heavy, it's toxic. It clouds your discernment. It blocks your joy. And worst of all, it convinces you that you're unworthy of the very thing God's been preparing you to receive. Second, by becoming emotionally honest. You can't attract real love while wearing a mask. You can't call forth vulnerability while hiding behind sarcasm and independence. Real love wants to know the real you, not the Instagram version, not the polished version, but the you who cries in your car sometimes and still chooses to believe. The you who has battle scars but still says, God, I'm ready. Third, by healing your inner narrative, because what you believe about yourself will shape how you receive love. If you believe you're a burden, you'll push love away. If you believe you're invisible, you'll settle for crumbs. If you believe you're unlovable, you'll sabotage the very thing you ask God to send. That's why God keeps bringing you back to yourself, to the root. Because if your heart is the soil, then your thoughts are the seeds. And you can't grow intimacy in soil filled with weeds of fear and self-hate. Let me make this real plain. The energy you carry speaks louder than your words. If you're still bitter, they'll feel it. If you're still afraid, they'll sense it. But if you're open, if you're healed, then what you radiate is safety, is peace, is invitation. So don't wait until they arrive to do the work. Don't wait until you see the relationship form to start preparing your heart. That's backwards. The preparation is the permission. Every time you choose to believe you're worthy, heaven takes notice. Every time you release an old story, the spiritual atmosphere shifts. Every time you say, I may have been broken, but I'm still worthy of love, something unlocks in the spirit. Because listen, this isn't just about attracting someone. This is about aligning with what's already been written for you. And if you want to walk into it fully, freely, you've got to clear the path. That means releasing the past relationship that still haunts you. That means breaking the soul tie with that person who was never your destiny, only your distraction. That means closing the door to the version of you who thought pain was proof of love. You are not just preparing your mind, you are preparing your soul. You are preparing the temple. You are building the home before the guest arrives. Now hear me, when you shift, the atmosphere around you shifts. When you start vibrating at the frequency of love, forgiveness, and surrender. It's not just for your benefit, it calls your person forward. It gives heaven the green light to move, because heaven responds to alignment. You're not waiting for love to come find you. Love is waiting for you to become who you were always meant to be. And I say this with all the conviction in my soul. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to harden. This is the time to prepare, not out of desperation, but out of expectation, because love, divine love, is a gift, but it's also an assignment. It will grow you, stretch you, and yes, it will require you to show up fully. So if you've been saying, I'm ready, but your heart is still guarded, if you've been saying, God, send them, but you still haven't let go of the last one, if you've been saying, I want love, but you don't believe you're worthy, then this is your moment to shift. Not for them, for you, because the most powerful thing you can do in this season is become the version of yourself that love can recognize. So breathe deep. Lay down the weight. Let go of what hurt you. Let God fill the spaces they couldn't. And when your person comes, because they will, you won't have to force anything. You'll be ready. And so we've come to the edge of something sacred. We've journeyed through fear, through self-doubt, through the wilderness of emotional paralysis, and now we stand at the threshold of destiny. Not just their destiny, but yours. Not just their healing, but yours. Because you are not just watching this unfold. No, my friend, you are part of it. You've always been part of it. The way your soul stirred, the way your heart opened, the way your spirit whispered, this is different. This matters. That was never a coincidence. That was divine orchestration. Now, I need you to hear me, and I mean really hear me. This isn't just about you waiting. This isn't just about hoping they'll come around. This is about aligning your soul to the love you say you're ready for. See, you don't wait for love by folding your arms and holding your breath. No, you wait by preparing the space. You wait by tilling the ground. You wait by sweeping the floor of your soul clean so that when love walks in, it doesn't trip over the debris of your past. Let's get real. Have you truly let go of what hurt you? Have you really released the betrayal, the abandonment, the disappointment, or are you still holding fragments of old heartbreak like shattered glass in your hands? Because love can't grow where bitterness still lives. Love can't take root in a heart still echoing with the lies that said you're not enough. Love doesn't blossom in a soul that's half open and half closed. And I know you've been through it. You've cried tears nobody saw. You've healed wounds nobody knew existed. But I also know this: your healing has positioned you. Your pain has refined you. Your resilience has anointed you. You are not who you were when this journey began. And because of that, you have a new role. Not the role of the broken, not the role of the helpless, but the role of the activator. That's right, you are an activator. You carry an energy that can shift atmospheres, a frequency that can melt fear, a spirit that can open doors. And your love, it's not ordinary. It's the kind of love that restores, the kind that holds space for someone's journey even when it's slow, the kind that forgives without enabling, that prays without pushing, that sees the cracks, but still believes in the beauty of what could be built. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But what if I do all this and they still don't come? And here's the truth. You have to face your obedience to healing, your commitment to love, your surrender to divine timing. It is never wasted. Even if they never knock on your door, your transformation will still carry you into the love that was meant for you. Whether it's with them or someone else, you are being prepared for a love that matches your readiness, not your history. So today I want to ask you one question, and I want you to wrestle with it. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Let it sit in your chest and echo in your bones. Are you truly ready to receive what you've been praying for? Because being ready doesn't just mean wanting it. Being ready means you've created the room for it. It means you're no longer holding hands with fear while asking for connection. It means you've made peace with your past and started dreaming again with open palms instead of clenched fists. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about being perfect. No one who's been through the fire comes out without a few burn marks. This is about being present. This is about being aligned. This is about surrendering the timeline and saying, God, if this is the love you've written for me, then help me be the version of me that can hold it. Because sometimes they're not ready yet, but your readiness can still make waves in the spiritual. Your preparation becomes a prayer in motion. Your healing becomes a signal in the heavenlies. Your energy starts sending a message not just to them, but to God Himself. I'm no longer hiding. I'm no longer sabotaging. I'm no longer shrinking. I am ready. And when you say that with your life, when you live like love is on the way, watch what starts shifting. Watch how people begin showing up. Watch how conversations change. Watch how their heart, even from a distance, begins to feel the weight of your wholeness calling them forward. Because love, real love, is magnetic. It draws, it compels, it awakens. So now you've got a job to do. You've got some clearing to do. You've got some affirming to speak over yourself. Some declarations to make in the mirror. You've got some inner renovations to finish up because something sacred is being built. And if you're going to house divine love, you can't afford to leave the doors to your past wide open. Close them gently, bless them if you can, but close them, forgive who you need to forgive, including yourself, because the future doesn't come when we deserve it. It comes when we're willing to receive it. And baby, your future is knocking. Your future is whispering, I'm almost here, will you make room? This is the moment where everything turns. This is the point in the movie where the music swells and the camera pans wide. Because while they're still wrestling with fear, you're rising in power. While they're still counting the reasons not to love, you're becoming the kind of love that breaks every excuse. And that's your power. That's your purpose in this moment. Not to wait and worry. Not to obsess over what you can't control, but to prepare your soul like the door could knock any day. And when it does, you'll be ready not just to welcome love, but to steward it, to protect it, to honor it. Because this is not just a love story, it's a faith story, a transformation story. And you, beloved, are right in the center of it. So get ready, get real, and get open. Because when God writes a reunion, it's never ordinary. It's sacred, and your part in it. It starts right now. Beloved chosen ones, there comes a moment in every divine love story where waiting is no longer enough, where longing must give way to action, where hope matures into alignment. And that moment, my friend, is now. You've prayed, you've cried, you've searched, you've prepared, but what comes next is the deepest act of faith. You must speak to the universe with your whole being, not in whispers, not in hesitation, but in a clear, thunderous declaration from your soul. I am ready. This is not the kind of readiness born from desperation or impatience. No, this is not about forcing destiny. This is about stepping fully into the identity God has been shaping in you all along. When you say, I am ready, you are not simply mouthing words, you are shifting frequencies. You are activating divine motion. You are becoming the loudspeaker of God's timing, echoing across the spiritual realm. You see, destiny doesn't respond to half-hearted signals. It doesn't yield to fear-based affirmations. The person who is meant for you, your soulmate, your divine counterpart, may be battling their own shadows, imprisoned in fear, stuck in cycles of self-doubt. But here's the mystery. When you rise in readiness, your energy sends a ripple through time and spirit. That ripple reaches them. It shakes the walls of their inner resistance. It awakens what they buried. Your yes speaks louder than you know. And that's why this step cannot be skipped. The spiritual union you seek is not passive. It is not meant to fall from the sky without preparation or signal. You are not waiting on love as much as love is waiting on you. Waiting for you to say, not just with your mouth, but with your habits, your heart posture, your forgiveness, your trust, I'm no longer afraid to love. I am no longer held hostage by the past. I am open. I am grounded. I am surrendered. Let it come. You must send this message with your whole life. You send it when you clean your space and make room, not just physically, but spiritually. You send it when you stop entertaining relationships that drain your spirit. You send it when you stop replaying old heartbreaks and start thanking God for what didn't work out. You send it when you love yourself fiercely and walk with dignity. You send it when you pray, not out of loneliness, but out of alignment. You send it when your actions declare, the love I'm asking for will not find me broken, I am meeting it whole. But hear me now, this is not about being perfect. This is about being real. being rooted, being fully present in who you are, and trusting that who you are is enough. You may still have fears. You may still feel the echoes of rejection. But readiness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to trust love more than fear. It is the courage to believe that what God has written cannot be erased by delay or doubt. It is standing in your light and refusing to dim it for the comfort of what's familiar. So what does it look like to take this step, to speak this message to the universe and to the soul you are destined for? It begins in stillness. It begins in prayer. It begins when you close your eyes and say, God, I no longer shrink. I no longer run. I no longer disqualify myself from what you have qualified me for. If love is what you wrote for me, I will not fear its arrival. I receive it. I welcome it. I bless it before I see it. And then you walk like you believe it. You forgive like you believe it. You plan like you believe it. You stop asking for signs and start becoming one. You treat your heart like the treasure it is. You treat others with grace, not bitterness. You move through your day with expectancy, not entitlement. You no longer ask, will it come? Instead, you ask, how can I prepare the garden of my soul for its arrival? When you live like this, when you move like this, something happens in the invisible. There is a trembling in the realm of spirit. There is a stirring because now your actions are in agreement with your prayers. Your vibration, your intention, your openness, they become the GPS for love to locate you. The soul that is tied to yours begins to sense the shift. Their spirit, even unknowingly, begins to wake up because destiny responds to alignment, not just longing. That person, wherever they are, starts to feel it. They can't explain it. Maybe they start dreaming of you. Maybe they feel a sudden urgency to heal. Maybe they're pulled to places they've never considered before. Why? Because you spoke the language of spirit. Because your I am ready is not limited by geography or time. It is carried by God's timing. It travels farther than your feet ever could. It echoes louder than any word you could say to them directly. It reaches their soul because your soul was the one it was always meant to meet. But you must be bold in this. You must be intentional. You must be willing to let go of what does not reflect this readiness. You cannot say you are ready and still chase validation from the unavailable. You cannot say you are ready and still rehearse heartbreak like a badge of identity. You cannot say you are ready and still fear being seen. Love will not visit. Where fear is the host, you must be a place where love can dwell and flourish. This is your sacred assignment, to become the evidence that love is possible, that it is holy, that it is worth the wait, worth the risk, worth the healing. You are not just preparing to receive love. You are becoming a vessel that reveals the kind of love that changes everything, not just for you, but for the one tied to you, for your future children, for generations beyond. Because when real love enters, it shifts bloodlines, it breaks curses, it redefines what is normal in your family, in your lineage. But that shift begins with you. It begins with your yes. It begins with your surrender. It begins with the message you send today, not in desperation, but in destiny. So stand up, lift your eyes, open your mouth, say it out loud, I am ready. I am willing. I am not afraid of love anymore. I was made for this, and I trust the one who wrote the story. And let that be the rhythm of your life from this moment forward. Every step, every word, every act, let it reinforce what you declared. No more waiting in shadows. No more hoping while hiding. No more shrinking back. When the moment calls you forward, you are ready. Say it until every cell in your body believes it. Say it until the heavens shift. Say it until the soul who's been searching for you can hear you clearly. I am ready. And when you say that from the depths of your being, the universe, the angels, and even the soul meant to walk beside you will answer back. They will feel it. and they will come. And now is the hour to speak, not only with your words, but with your energy. Yes, energy, because long before love becomes physical, it is spiritual. Before a soul reaches out its hand, it reaches with its essence. And if you want to call your divine counterpart forth, if you want to awaken what's been sleeping, you must stand in the open and say, I am ready. This is not just a whisper, this is a declaration, not a hope, but a holy confidence, a shift in posture, a shift in atmosphere. Heaven does not respond to double minds. The universe does not echo uncertain prayers. You must be sure, you must be clear, and you must say it not just with your mouth, but with every fiber of your being. I am no longer afraid. I will no longer run. I choose love, and I choose it now. Because, beloved, your energy speaks even when you're silent. Your soul broadcasts its frequency. And if you're still carrying the static of fear, your message will come through, scrambled. But when you stand in healed clarity, when you shed the old stories, the betrayal, the self-doubt, the need to control, it's like tuning your soul to the purest signal. And guess who hears it? The one God wrote into your destiny. The one who has been silently waiting to feel your yes, not a hesitant yes, not a someday yes, a yes that radiates from the deepest well of who you are. Let me tell you something that might surprise you the moment you truly say yes. Their world begins to shift too. You may not see it with your eyes yet. You may not get a text or a call immediately, but something moves in the spirit realm. Something unlocks in their heart. Because when you change your energy, when you stop resisting what heaven is trying to send, it reverberates. That's how connected you are. You're not waiting for a sign from them. You are the sign. You are the signal. And when you send it in truth, they cannot help but respond. But this requires courage, real courage. Not the kind that pretends, but the kind that lets go. It means surrendering the timeline, surrendering the need to know how. It means standing in faith when it feels like nothing is moving. It means trusting that God is more committed to your union than you are, that the author of your life never forgot the love story he planted in your spirit, and so you must act as though it's already done. Live in the reality of the promise. Don't wait for someone to show up to become the partner you were created to be. Be her. Be him. Now, speak kindness, live generously, give love, room to breathe in your life. Forgive even when it's hard. Choose peace even when it hurts. Honor yourself even when it's lonely. Because all of these are seeds, and you are sowing them into the garden where your destiny will bloom. You are not passive in this process. No, you are a co-creator with God. And every day, by choosing to stay open, by refusing to turn bitter, you are sculpting a space in your heart big enough for a holy love to rest. Your readiness is not about perfection. It's about posture. And the posture of I'm ready is not desperate, not forceful, but peaceful, steady, clear. So, child of God, I ask you now, what message is your soul broadcasting? Is it fear or faith? Is it desperation or devotion? Is it doubt or destiny? Because your divine counterpart is not only watching, they're sensing. Your healing calls to theirs. Your surrender invites theirs. Your yes makes their journey a little easier to complete. And if both of you stand in the same frequency of faith, that is when heaven says, now. But the action must be taken. You can't just think it. You must live it. You must write it in your journal. Pray it over your pillow. Speak it into your mirror. You must walk through your day as one who knows love is already moving toward you. You must send that message so clearly that even the angels recognize your voice. I am ready. Let that be the vibration that resounds in your atmosphere. Let that be the fire that burns in your soul. Let that be the anthem you carry into your mornings, your nights, your in-betweens. Not a wish, a knowing. Because when you say it like you mean it, things begin to rearrange. The old attachments break off. The wrong options start to disappear. And space opens not just in your heart, but in your life. And what's meant for you, what's always been meant for you, starts to move. So this is the call. Not to wait, not to wonder, but to step into the role you were born to play. Not just the one who receives love, but the one who ushers it in. Let this be the message you send. Not to manipulate, not to chase, but to stand rooted in sacred truth. I am ready, God. I am ready, destiny. I am ready, love. Tonight, when God's been working in the dark, orchestrating, shifting, refining, there always comes a moment when what's been spiritual starts to become physical. That's the moment we've been talking about. That's the moment of manifestation, when what's been whispered in the soul becomes a sign in the natural. That's when the one who's been chosen for you begins to feel something undeniable rising inside them. A tug, a pull, a divine nudge. You see, when God prepares a reunion between two destined souls, it never happens by chance. It may look like coincidence, but it's not. It may seem like serendipity, but it's much deeper than that. Because destiny doesn't stumble. Destiny arrives on time when the preparation meets the promise. And in that moment, beloved, something begins to stir in the one you've been waiting for. It could come as a dream that's clearer than any before, where your face shows up not in confusion, but in clarity. It could come as a deep urge to reach out, to call, to break silence that once felt safe. It could happen in a moment you never expected, when you're walking down the street and there they are. Not planned, not arranged, just divine. These are not random happenings. These are the fingerprints of heaven. But listen close now. When that sign appears, when your destined soul begins to awaken with clarity and desire, that's not the end of the process. That's just the beginning of the reunion. And that's where your role becomes just as important as theirs. Because when destiny arrives knocking, your heart has to be ready to answer without hesitation. Many people pray for the sign. They long for the synchronicity, the dream, the moment. But here's what they forget. When the sign comes, you can't freeze up. You can't let the pain of the past make you hesitate. You can't let the residue of disappointment put up a wall. Because if your door is closed, the reunion may knock and knock again and turn away. Let me break this down even further. You may get the exact thing you asked God for, the very person, the very opportunity, the very love. And if your heart is still full of suspicion, if your spirit is still hiding behind the betrayal of yesterday, you won't recognize the gift. Worse, you might reject it. That's why the work before the sign is so important. That's why all the preparation, the healing, the shedding, it's not just some waiting game. It's sacred groundwork. God doesn't send blessings to people still living in bondage. He sends blessings to the free, to those who've been broken, yes, but also to those who've let him heal the break. So I ask you tonight, will you be ready when the sign shows up? Because I promise you it's coming. For some of you, it's already close. You can feel it in your spirit. A strange peace mixed with anticipation, a sense that something's shifting in the unseen. That's not your imagination. That's not just emotional residue. That's the Holy Spirit whispering, get ready. The one you've been praying for, they're hearing it too. They may not fully understand it yet, but they're about to dream about you. They're about to feel a pull they can't explain. They're about to look around at their life and say, something's missing, and I think I know who it is. But hear me, they may wrestle, they may pause. Because even when God speaks, fear tries to intercept the message. Even when the soul knows, the mind wants to rationalize. But this is where your readiness sends a signal of its own. Your energy, your frequency, your open heart becomes a welcome mat for their courage. It says, you're safe here. It says, I see you not who you were, but who you're becoming. And in that moment, the walls that were once built by fear can fall, because now they don't just feel drawn to you, they feel called. That's the power of readiness. That's the power of your heart being wide open, not just in desire, but in faith. Because a half-open heart will send a distorted signal, but a fully open one, it becomes like a beacon, a lighthouse in the storm. Maybe they're not perfect yet. Maybe you're not either. But reunion is not about perfection. It's about surrender, about alignment, about two souls saying, we may not have done everything right before, but now we're ready. And let me say this to somebody who's been in a long season of waiting. Don't mistake the silence for denial. Don't mistake the delay for rejection. What looks like nothing happening on the surface might be the most profound movement happening underneath. Seeds grow in darkness. Roots take hold before leaves appear. And just when you think it's over, the sprouting comes. So don't get weary now. Don't shut down your spirit when the final mile is in front of you. Because this last stretch, it's about faith. It's about holding space in your heart for the miracle you can't see yet, but you believe is on the way. And when it comes, when the call comes, when the message is sent, when the eyes lock again or for the first time, don't doubt, don't question, don't self-sabotage, just receive. Just stand in the truth you've been preparing for. Just say, I'm here, I'm open, I'm ready. This is your divine moment. This is when love becomes real. Not the fantasy kind, the God-ordained kind, the kind that walks through fire, the kind that heals generational wounds, the kind that doesn't need to be forced because heaven already said yes. You see, the final sign doesn't just show you they're coming, it reveals who you've become while waiting. Are you bitter or are you better? Are you closed off or are you courageous? Are you bracing for heartbreak or are you believing in breakthrough? Because the person you're meant to walk with needs more than just your presence. They need your wholeness. And that wholeness doesn't mean you have no scars. It means you've made peace with them. It means you're no longer hiding them. It means you're not using them to push away the one God is sending to hold you. So yes, the final sign is theirs, but the response is yours. Will you meet them with fear or will you meet them with faith? Will you look into their eyes and see the past or will you see the promise? Because love, real love, doesn't run from discomfort. It walks into the fire and says, I'm not going anywhere. And that's the kind of love you've been prepared for. That's the kind of love you've cried over, fasted for, grown into. That's the love that was written into your story before you were even born. So now as you stand here closer than ever to the unfolding, remember this. You don't have to force what's divine. You just have to receive it. So open your heart, drop the armor, release the doubt. And when the sign shows up, when your soul recognizes its reflection in another, don't hesitate, because destiny doesn't knock twice. It knocks once and it waits to see if your heart is home. Beloved chosen ones, there is a holy stillness right before the thunder, a sacred pause before the heavens open and pour down destiny. And that stillness is not the absence of movement. It's the trembling hush before divine convergence. I came to tell you that the person destined for you, the one your soul has whispered about in the quietest hours, is on the brink of receiving their final sign. Yes, I said final, because God doesn't give signs for entertainment. He gives signs to shift atmospheres, to shift hearts, to call into motion what heaven already wrote. Let me speak plain, your person. The one heaven has hidden for you is about to experience something they can no longer ignore. This isn't just a thought. This isn't just a feeling. This is the physical breaking into the spiritual. It's the dream that wakes them up in sweat, in tears, in trembling because they saw you and it felt more real than this world. It's the moment they hear your name in a song in a stranger's voice and something inside them says, I have to find them. I can't stay where I am. It's the bumping into someone who looks like you, sounds like you, and it sparks a holy longing they tried to bury under time and fear. This is the sign that cracks open the veil between two lives and reveals that neither was ever truly separated. The illusion of distance dies in this moment, because that dream, that tug in their gut, that sudden jolt of clarity, it's not coincidence, it's not nostalgia, it's not imagination, it's confirmation. But listen to me, child of God. When this moment comes, when that divine signal shoots through the heavens and lands in the center of their heart, you must be ready too. Not just wishing, not just waiting, ready. And what does readiness look like? It looks like a heart that no longer carries the bitterness of yesterday's betrayals. It looks like a spirit that isn't still bleeding from the cuts of unhealed wounds. It looks like a mind that no longer argues with hope but bows to it. Because if you're not ready, if you're still chained to the ghost of rejection, if you're still hiding behind fear's voice, then you may not recognize the moment when heaven knocks on your door. God is not just preparing them, He's been preparing you. You are not just the receiver of love. You are the co-partner in this reunion. You are the answer to their prayer just as much as they are the answer to yours. And if they are about to move, you must be ready to move too. If they are about to act, you must be ready to respond with faith, not fear. With openness, not suspicion. With peace, not panic. Some of you are saying, but Denzel, I'm tired. I've waited so long. And I understand that, but don't let your tiredness become a wall that blocks your promise. Don't let your waiting turn into resistance. Because God isn't just moving them closer to you, He's testing your posture when the miracle shows up. Can you be tender again? Can you believe again? Can you stand in the middle of this final moment and say, yes, I receive, let me go deeper? This isn't just about love. This is about destiny alignment. When that person receives that sign and they feel the pull to reach out, to show up, to speak what was left unsaid, they are not just acting on emotion, they are responding to divine timing. It is the same timing that pulled Ruth to Boaz, the same timing that turned Joseph from prisoner to prince overnight. It's sudden, but it's sacred. And if you're still living in yesterday's pain, you will not hear today's invitation. So hear me loud and clear. This final sign is coming. It may already be stirring in their dreams. It may already be swelling in their heart. And when they come, when they reach out, when they appear, when the moment you've prayed for becomes the moment you live in, you must not let old doubts speak louder than the Spirit's confirmation. Because this isn't just a return, it's a resurrection. You need to receive this final sign in nature, not analyze it. You don't have to dissect the sign when you're walking in discernment. And that discernment is going to matter more than ever in these coming days. It might show up in something as small as a message at midnight, a message that simply says, hey, I've been thinking about you. But what seems small in the natural is enormous in the spirit. Because that message isn't just words, it's surrender, it's breakthrough. It's someone pushing past their pride, their fear, their confusion to honor the tug that heaven placed in their soul. It could be a literal run-in on the street or at the store or in a city you don't even live in. And you'll feel it, that jolt, that pause in time, that sense of this was not a coincidence, that's divine orchestration. That's God moving mountains and schedules and roads just to bring you two to the same space. When that happens, don't just smile and walk away. Feel the Spirit, acknowledge the moment, ask yourself, am I ready to say yes? It might not be them showing up first. It could be the universe pressing you to reach out. Maybe you'll get the dream. Maybe you'll hear the name. Maybe you'll feel the ache in your chest that says, they need me right now. And you'll hesitate because of pride or fear of rejection. But hear me, pride can't birth destiny. Only obedience can. So if the Spirit says, move, move, that might be the final push they need to come out of hiding and into healing. You see, when the final sign hits, it awakens not only memory but urgency. This is when they realize time is no longer their ally if they stay silent. This is when heaven breathes boldness into the fearful and tells them, now or never. That is the power of divine convergence. It makes the heart restless until it surrenders. And while all this is happening in them, the question is, what's happening in you? Are you prepared to receive what you've been praying for? Because some of us are great at praying, but terrible at preparing. Some of us say, God, send them, but we still sleep next to bitterness, dine with disappointment, and clothe ourselves in self-protection. And love cannot sit at a table crowded with old trauma. This is your moment to clean the table. Make room. Sweep out the corners of your heart. Ask yourself, do I still believe in love, or have I only been worshiping the idea of it? Do I truly trust that God would bring someone into my life not to complete me, but to align with the calling inside me? Because when they come, and beloved, they will come, you will need to meet them with faith, not fear, with presence, not performance, with truth, not tactics, no games, no hiding. You spirit meeting spirit, soul meeting soul. This is the final sign, and it's not just a signal to them. It's a test to you. Will you recognize them not just with your eyes, but with your spirit? Will you let go of the narrative that love always leaves? Will you open the door when love comes knocking? Because this isn't just another chapter. It's the fulfillment of one that's been writing itself through every tear, every prayer, every silent night where you said, God, I still believe. They're coming. You're ready. Let it be done. As we come to the very end of today's message, when the waiting comes to an end, the praying, the preparing, the healing, it all leads here, right here, to this moment, the moment you choose, the moment you say without trembling, without fear, I'm ready. See, God doesn't just send divine love when your hair is perfect, when your career is lined up, or when you feel like you finally arrived. No, He sends it when your heart is soft enough to receive it. He sends it when you finally surrender, not with clenched fists, but with open hands. That's the posture of readiness. Heaven already made its move. The stars have been aligning, the angels have whispered, and your soul has been nudged time and time again. But now the question is, will you respond? Because this love, it's not ordinary. It's been divinely written into the pages of your life before you ever knew what love really meant. And now heaven's asking one thing of you, just one. Don't run. Don't run from the unfamiliar feeling of being seen completely. Don't run when the door opens and love stands there, raw, vulnerable, honest. Don't flinch because of who hurt you before. Don't block what God has blessed because your past still haunts your future. No, you stand tall, you breathe deep, you reach for the light with both hands and say, I'm here. I'm not perfect, but I'm present. I'm not fearless, but I'm willing, because readiness isn't perfection, it's surrender. That's the secret the world won't tell you. The universe doesn't need you to have it all figured out. The divine doesn't require a perfect record or a pain-free history. All heaven wants is a willing heart, a heart willing to risk again, to trust again, to love again. That's the key. That's what unlocks the miracle. So if you feel the nudge tonight, if your chest is warm, if your soul is stirred, if you feel like something holy is happening just under your skin, pay attention. That's not just emotion, that's alignment. That's the frequency of God meeting your desire and saying, it's time. And when it happens, when they come back, or you meet for the first time, or a conversation feels like prophecy unfolding, don't second guess it. Don't overanalyze it. Don't scroll it away or sleep it off. Let it sink in. Let it settle. Let it move you. Because when divine love shows up, it shows up bold. It won't knock twice. It won't wait forever. And it certainly won't force its way into a heart still guarded by fear. It waits for the signal. And that signal is you saying yes. So as this message ends, I ask you, no, I challenge you, thank God for what's coming, not what you've seen, but what's on the way. Pray not just for clarity, but for courage. And if you've got something to give your kindness, your words, your presence, give it. Be generous with your hope, because the more you pour out, the more you make room to receive. But above all, remember this: readiness is not something you wait for, it's something you choose. And the moment you choose it, heaven moves, love answers, destiny steps into motion, and what was only a dream becomes flesh and bone. You're not waiting anymore. You're welcoming. You're not hoping in the dark. You're stepping into the light. You're not afraid of love. You're ready. And because you're ready, love is coming. Finally, thank you for walking with me all the way to the end of today's message. If this word has inspired you, lifted your spirit, or reminded you of something sacred within, we humbly invite you to support this channel in whatever way your heart leads. Your presence, your prayers, and your kindness are what allow us to continue sharing God's truth and spreading the light of divine love to souls across the world. From the depths of our hearts, we thank those who are able to give, and just as deeply those who simply receive. Your prayers, your likes, your shares, they mean more to us than words can express. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and pass this message on to someone who may need it. Your involvement strengthens this community and empowers us to reach further, love louder, and shine brighter with God's light. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What part of today's message spoke to your heart the most? May the Lord surround you with His grace, strengthen your spirit, and bless the work of your hands. Stay ready, stay faithful, stay blessed.